What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly show. I'm your host, Olin, aka MMAnomaly. And if you're new here or if you're returning, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and smash that bell for notifications. And with that out of the way, we will go ahead and jump right into my picks for UFC 281. Starting at the bottom of the main card, we've got Dan Hooker going in against Claudio Pueles. I think Dan Hooker has looked like a shadow of his former self in the last few fights. I think him cutting that extra weight and going down a weight class was a desperate attempt to stay in the top five. And realistically, I don't know what's happening in his camp for himself. The others in his camp seem to continue growing, but he's seemed to kind of hit a plateau already. And it's a shame to see because I think that he has very, very real talent. But in this one, I got to take the underdog. I'm taking Claudio Pueles. He's a plus 125 underdog on DraftKings Sportsbooks. I'm putting him on my parlay. In the next fight, we've got a bantamweight bout between Chris Gutierrez going up against Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar is an absolute legend of the sport. He's for sure going to end up being a UFC Hall of Famer. If there's just an ever overall MMA Hall of Fame, that guy's definitely going to be in it. He has had just a ridiculous amount of time in the octagon and a ridiculous legacy of wins and losses in the octagon. He is kind of like our real life Rocky story, right? Unfortunately, Rocky doesn't always win in this one, and I think this is going to be no different. I think Chris Gutierrez goes out there, utilizes his arsenal of striking, and chops away at the trees of Frankie Edgar. I think Frankie Edgar's best chance at winning this is utilizing the wrestling and the footwork. And if Chris is smart, he goes out there and just chops those trees very early on. He's got a very dangerous leg kick, and I think he utilizes it to take out Frankie Edgar in this fight. Up next is definitely the people's main event. It's definitely my main event. Dustin Poirier, anybody who knows me knows, is one of my favorite fighters of all time, if not my favorite fighter of all time. And he's going in there against Mr. Michael, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, Chandler. I think Dustin Poirier goes out there and gets it done. I know, bias alert, ding ding. I just think Dustin Poirier has the better footwork, the better boxing. And though Michael Chandler has real one-shot knockout power and really good wrestling, Dustin Poirier has good wrestling negation skills as long as your last name isn't Nurmagomedov. Realistically, I think Dustin Poirier goes out there and gets it done within 2 rounds. He might go out there and knock him out in the first round. Let's see how it goes. And before we jump into the co-main event and main event of the evening, just to let everybody know, I will be putting my DraftKings Sportsbooks picks at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned to the end so you can check those out and let me know what you think of those picks in the comments below. Now, jumping into the co-main event of the evening, we've got Carla the Cookie Monster Esparza defending her belt against Zhang Weili. If you would have asked me 2 months ago who I had in this one, I would have told you instantaneously, without a shadow of a doubt, I've got Zhang Weili. I think she wins via murder. Now, I don't know why the closer the fight gets to us, I think Carla definitely has more of a chance than I was originally giving her credit for. Her wrestling could prove to be a real problem for Zhang Weili, and if she's able to utilize that wrestling early on, it could prove to be a long 25 minutes for the challenger. However, I mean, if you're asking me who I'm going to put on my DraftKings at the end of this video, I'm telling you straight up, it's Zhang Weili. Jumping into the main event of the evening, we have Israel, the last stylebender, Adesanya, going in against Alex Pereira, his arch nemesis, the man who holds 2 kickboxing wins over him. I mean, everybody is telling everybody that Alex Pereira is the man to do it. He's going to come into MMA and he's going to knock Adesanya out again. I tell those people, go back and watch those 2 kickboxing fights. Because let me tell you, in the first one, you could argue that Adesanya actually deserved the decision victory. And in the second one, there was some weird stuff going on. Like, there was a moment when Adesanya was just teeing off on Alex Pereira, and Pereira didn't go down, but the ref stepped in and gave him a standing 10 count to basically recover. And then the very next round is when he comes out and knocks out Adesanya. So, I don't know. Those fights were weird. They were also basically a lifetime ago in combat sports time, so I would take those fights with a grain of salt. That being said, I've got Israel Adesanya. I think it just stands to show, like, if you look at them on paper, you've got 6-1 versus 23-1. One guy literally has 3 to 4 times the career in this sport of the other guy. Oh, and in kickboxing, he has almost twice as many fights as well. So, again, Israel Adesanya wins on paper. I think he wins in real life, and I think he gets the stoppage. So, the moment you've all been waiting for. Here are my big bets for DraftKings Sportsbooks. So, I am doing a 5-fight parlay. I have Israel Adesanya, Zhang Weili, Dustin Poirier, Chris Gutierrez, and Claudio Pueles. I just did 5 picks, all 5 picks on the main card, just to make it interesting. And what that parlay gets you, $10 will get you a payout of $94.28. Not bad. And then my other 2 big picks here, I'm kind of hedging my bets a little bit, so to speak. So I'm putting Israel Adesanya by knockout as well as Israel Adesanya by submission. I'm putting $25 on both of those. One of those will pay out $100 if he lands it, and then the other one will pay out $375 if he lands it, off of $25. So I'm investing $50, and I either win $100 or I win $375 as long as Adesanya gets any kind of finish. So let me know what you think of those picks in the comments below. Let me know who your money's on this weekend, and let me know what fights you're excited about most on this card. Thanks again for watching, and again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications, and make sure you follow me on all platforms at MMAnomaly. Thank you. See you next time.